After her husband died, my sister gave his child from his first marriage to an orphanage. I can't communicate with my own sister now. I never even suspected that she was such a callous person, capable of meanness, and I can't describe her actions in any other way. When her husband died, my sister immediately wrote a statement to the guardianship authorities that her husband's son was nobody to her, and she was not going to bear any responsibility for him. No love, no pity, no sympathy. My sister got married about 6 years ago. At that time, her husband was already divorced. He had a son from a previous marriage, who was then living with his mother. My sister immediately stated that she did not want to have anything to do with that family, so all meetings were somewhere on neutral territory. My husband did not protest. This condition remained until the child's mother died 4 years ago. It turned out that the boy had no relatives left except his father, so my sister had to accept the fact that the child would live with them. At that time, the boy was about 5 years old. My sister wasn't thrilled, but she didn't bother to go anywhere with a baby in her arms. They rented a more spacious apartment so that no one would sit on anyone's head. My husband provided for the family. My sister took her maternity leave and went back to work, but the baby was often sick in kindergarten. So you could say that my sister didn't work, constantly running from sick leave to sick leave. My stepson was already going to school. My son-in-law's child from his first marriage seemed problem-free to me. My sister admitted that she had no problems with the boy. He helps around the house, doesn't get in my way, isn't picky about his food, and generally behaves as quiet as a mouse. I had the same opinion. I didn't visit my sister often, but when I did, I always brought a treat for my nephew and my sister's stepson, although she always frowned with displeasure when I called him that. She emphasized that she had not filled out any paperwork and was not going to do so. This was her husband's son, nothing more. It seemed that everything in my sister's life was measured and calm, until a little over 6 months ago when her husband died. He seemed to be a healthy young man, but his heart seized up and that was it. They couldn't save him. He quickly passed away. Of course, it was a tragedy. The funeral took place. I didn't have time for 9 days, because I was away. I came to visit my sister upon my return, and was surprised. I had to come to a different address. It turned out that my sister had moved. Now she lived with her son in a one-room apartment. I didn't see my stepson or even his things, so I asked the logical question about his whereabouts. My sister calmly said that he was taken away by guardianship representatives. I didn't understand why. Well, why? My father died. He has no other relatives. Such cases are sent to an orphanage. Wait, what do you mean, no relatives? Then who are you? My sister started to boil and said through her teeth that she was his father's wife, but she was nobody to the boy, and she had no desire to be. What I heard shocked me. There was so much indifference in my sister's answer. And what, didn't even your heart tremble when they took him away? My sister shrugged. Then she began to reason that the boy was simply unlucky in life. First his mother, then his father. But she even found a plus in this. After graduating from the orphanage, he would receive benefits and an apartment. I sat and did not believe that this indifferent creature was my sister. I expressed my opinion that my sister had acted wrongly. The child had gotten used to her. This was a memory of the man whom, according to her, she loved. What would he say if he found out about her actions? But my words were like a poultice for a dead man. My sister stood her ground. She did not owe anything to her husband's child. She needs to think about her son, not about someone else's boy. I left her with such a mess in my head that it took me a week to come to my senses. And when I came back, I started to find out where they took the child. I have no way to take him for myself, neither housing nor income will allow it, but I will definitely visit him. I already went to see him once. My heart sank, how happy he was, seeing a familiar face. He did not complain, asked about his brother, about Aunt Sveta, my sister. It was so hard for me to sit and just not cry. I have a nephew and this unfortunate boy, whom fate has been beating for some reason from an early age. But I don't have a sister now. I will never understand this act.